how there were so many details. We used to write everything, so you have like what I eat, like all the things that when we are in the shelter, protecting ourselves for a week, I would write every day. And at that moment, we only wanted to live, to love, to have fun, despite everything. When we did the film, there was something very moving to see
that you're double jabbed or have a lateral flow test that's negative if you want to go to certain massive outdoor venues and indoor settings. And yes, it does mean a bit more compulsory face mask wearing, and there is the working from home guidance. But they are essentially relatively low-level measures, yet the language that government scientists are using is much, much more alarmist. Let me just read you what Dr. Jenny Harries, head of the UK Health Security Agency, said today. She said that the Omicron coronavirus variant is probably the most significant threat that we've had since the start of the pandemic. So in the last 2 years that we've been enduring this health emergency, there you have one of the government's most senior scientific and health figures saying that this is probably the most significant threat that we've had. Now, that is sounding the alarm in the clearest possible way. Yet, the government response is only been relatively muted, relatively moderate. Yes, working from home, which can make something of a difference, but that's guidance. No sign of lockdowns, no restrictions on people meeting indoors or outdoors, an attempt to stave that off, and the controversial measures that were pushed through the House of Commons yesterday in the face of lots of Tory opposition, with the help of Labour votes, frankly, relatively mild, relatively moderate. And that's because essentially we are waiting for the Omicron wave to hit us. Boris Johnson has described it as a tidal wave. Chris Whitty, speaking to the cabinet yesterday, was clear that it's coming. And yet we are, at the moment, doing comparatively little compared to some other countries in order to try and stem the flow. Now, there are more boosters in place in the United Kingdom. More people have been boosted, but countries like Ireland, France and Germany have started to shut down bits of the economy, things like nightclubs and other large settings, but the United Kingdom hasn't, and particularly England hasn't begun to go down that path really at all. So the question is, will Boris Johnson have to do that in the coming days? Today, it seems as if Boris Johnson isn't going to do that. He's instead going to emphasise the success of the booster programme and also emphasise the potential threat. But you heard Sajid Javid in that interview that came in barely 15 minutes ago. A bit odd to have the Health Secretary talking just before the Prime Minister, but that's how they do their communications these days is a mysterious thing. But you heard him not ruling out further restrictions. When pressed by the reporter, are there going to be further changes, either in guidance or in law, to how people have to conduct themselves over the next couple of weeks in the run-up to Christmas, Sajid Javid simply said, we keep these things under constant review. And it's going to be interesting listening to the warnings, because if you look across quite a lot of the other newspaper front pages from around the world, you look at the Wall Street Journal, you look at some of the German media, you look at some of the French media, the subject of Omicron isn't dominating in the way that it is in the United Kingdom. Now, this is a point that's being picked up by lots of Tory MPs who are considering, if at some point in the coming days they're asked to back even further restrictions, whether or not they'd go for it. There is a singular focus on this and a ramping up of the rhetoric about this in the United Kingdom that a glance at the media elsewhere in the world doesn't suggest it's being echoed elsewhere. So there are questions from politicians about quite why we're having this quite alarmist talk, but very many sober and serious figures in government are saying that we are approaching a very big problem and that action needs to be taken. There are some suggestions, quite frankly, that there could be further restrictions. Maybe they'll be introduced next week. But the government at the moment is sticking to its guns, saying that the current package is balanced and proportionate. That's the phrase that Boris Johnson likes to use. He is personally not a fan of restrictions. We know that. He's on the more libertarian side of the Conservative Party. But he, when pressed by scientists, has often in the past found it hard to resist some of the things that they have asked that they do. Boris Johnson at the moment really stuck between some in his own party who resist further restrictions, further harm both to the economy and to people's mental health by forcing them to stay at home. That's their objection to it at a time where we don't know whether or not the Omicron variant is mild or serious, or the true medium-term effects of it and the effects on and whether or not the booster program and the jab program properly provide a wall of protection against death and serious illness and admission into intensive care. And on the other side, you've got these dramatic warnings from people like Dr. Jenny Harries, calling it, as I was saying earlier, probably the most significant threat that we've had since the start of the pandemic. So I would expect these scientists in this briefing to take us through the latest data. Of course, today we have had 28,610 positive cases. Now, that's quite a high number, and that's the kind of reason that we are getting these warnings from senior scientific figures.
Okay, Sam, I just want to bring viewers up to date. We're waiting for a news conference at Downing Street. The Prime Minister will lead that news conference with England's Chief Medical Officer Chris Whitty and NHS England's Dr. Nikki Kanani. And they've got clearly some interesting data to show the country. And Sam Coates is with me here. And Sam, I mean, are we expecting to see the data that Chris Whitty presented to the Cabinet yesterday?
I'm sure we'll get many of the same arguments that he made to the Cabinet yesterday. And to be honest, Mark, a lot of the data is publicly available, and I was looking at it just before we went on air just now. And what that data shows is that in the last week or so, we've had a 10% increase in hospitalisations. The figure for new infections today is sharply higher than it was yesterday. That's at 78,610 positive cases. At the same time, they're saying, well, of course, testing positive is a different, lower figure than the number of people who are being infected today, because not everybody is being tested, not everybody who is tested is being sequenced. They think that we are looking at somewhere between 200,000 people or potentially more people actually being infected, with just a much smaller number caught by the testing system. We are on a trajectory, the scientists say, to a situation where you could get, without intervention, 1 million people every couple of days, maybe even every day, getting the Omicron variant. And then we wait to see what happens with a proportion of those ending up in hospital, a proportion of those ending up in intensive care, and a proportion of those sadly dying. Just at the moment, the figures suggest that there are 896 people in intensive care. So we've got quite a lot fewer there in intensive care than there have been at various peaks in the pandemic. But the data at the moment is early, because, I mean, we know that we've only really been facing the Omicron variant as a national challenge for the last, 2.5 weeks? It was 2.5 weeks on that Saturday night that Boris Johnson popped up with Chris Whitty and Patrick Vallance just to announce the first changes to the rules, the first reimposition of face masks in certain settings like public transport. And we also know that it takes a period of time for people to get infected, a period of time before symptoms kick in, a period of time before people end up in hospital. And you've got this sort of lag on the data. And that's why Tory MPs are going, look, there isn't a great increase in the number of hospitalisations. There isn't any increase at all. There's a drop in the number of deaths at the moment on the one side. And on the other side, you've got the scientists going, yes, but because there is this 2, 3, 4 week lag in the impact of coronavirus infections, in the impact particularly of Omicron, which is such an unknown because it's such a new thing, you can't be complacent and just point to today's numbers and know that we aren't going to get a big problem throughout Christmas. So those are the issues, and people are poring over the data from South Africa trying to delay. And here we go with the Prime Minister.
Sam, we're going to interrupt you. Yeah, the Prime Minister is about to speak.
Every eligible adult in England can use the National Booking Service to get boosted now. If you're over 18 and had your second jab at least 3 months ago, then you can get jabbed right now. And it's absolutely vital that you do, because the wave of Omicron continues to roll in across the whole of our United Kingdom, with over 780,000 COVID cases today, the highest ever daily number reported. And the doubling rate of Omicron in some regions is now down to less than 2 days. And I'm afraid we're also seeing the inevitable increase in hospitalizations, up by 10% nationally week on week, and up by almost a third in London. But we are also seeing signs of hope, because since we launched our emergency Omicron appeal on Sunday night, a great national fight back has begun, and people have responded with an amazing spirit of duty and obligation to others. And I want to say that each and every one of you who rolls up your sleeve to get jabbed is helping this national effort. And I want to thank everyone who has come forwards, whether you've had to queue around the block at a walk-in centre or whether you've booked online. And of course, on behalf of the whole country, I want to thank our NHS, our GPs, our pharmacists, who with barely a day's notice, 48 hours notice, have so accelerated the programme that we began this week with the biggest vaccination Monday ever in England, and yesterday, the biggest booster day yet, with more than 650,000 boosters delivered across the whole UK. And across the country, after all they've been through, those teams are going to keep going through Christmas and beyond. Jab heroes like Kim Kirk, leading the King's Mill Hospital vaccination hub in Mansfield, who was asked a year ago to do it for 4 weeks and has been doing it ever since, with 180,000 jabs and counting. Dr. Laura Mount and the team at Central and West Warrington Primary Care Network, who've been organising pop-up vaccination clinics for the homeless. Or the team at Home Park in Plymouth, who've been regularly jabbing until 2 a.m. because they just carry on for as long as there are people there wanting a booster. And I want to thank those from every walk of life who are stepping forward to support them. The military personnel deployed across every region of the country, including an additional 100 in Scotland from yesterday, as well as 2,500 firefighters. And since Sunday night, we've seen more than 20,000 new volunteers signing up to help with the booster effort as stewards, taking the total number to almost 33,000. With every day, we're expanding the ranks of these healthcare auxiliaries, an emerging territorial army of the NHS in a race against time to get those jabs in arms and save lives. And if you're watching this and you want to get involved, just visit the website nhsvolunteerresponders.org.uk and do something this Christmas that you can tell your grandchildren about many Christmases from now. In total, we've boosted more than 45% of all adults in England, including more than 88% of those aged 70 or over. And while hospital admissions are going up nationwide, we're starting to see admissions coming down among some of the more vulnerable older age groups where we've already got those boosters in arms. From tomorrow, we're speeding things up even further by removing the 15-minute post-vaccination waiting time. And while we're at it, from Monday, 12 to 15-year-olds can book in for a second jab. And we know how crucial it is to keep children in school, so let's all make sure our children and young people are vaccinated before they go back next term. As we take forward our national mission, we're of course supporting similar efforts by the devolved administrations, which are also rapidly increasing vaccination rates across Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. A COBRA meeting with Edinburgh, Cardiff and Belfast is taking place this evening. But already, the pace of rollout across the 4 nations is such that the UK as a whole now has twice as many boosters per head as the EU, and more than twice as many as the United States. So let's keep going, let's keep giving Omicron both barrels, and let's slow its spread and give the vaccines more time. Wear face masks indoors, use ventilation, get tested if you're going to an event where you're likely to meet lots of people, and get tested if you're going to meet elderly or vulnerable relatives. And we're helping you to get the tests that you need. I want to thank the Royal Mail, who are doubling home deliveries of testing kits to 900,000 a day from Saturday. So let's slow down Omicron's spread, and at the same time, let's reduce the harm Omicron can do to us by building up our vaccine defences. We're jabbing in hospitals, we're jabbing in surgeries, we're jabbing in pharmacies and in pop-up centres, we're jabbing in shopping centres and on high streets, in football stadiums, with mass events planned at Stamford Bridge and Wembley this weekend, and daily jabathons at Elland Road in Leeds. We are throwing everything at it, and wherever you are, we'll be there with a jab for you. So please, get boosted now. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask Chris to do the slides.
Thank you, Prime Minister. First slide, please. I'll start off with slides that people have seen before, the updates, but I think there is an important thing to point out on this slide, which is the very high spike on the very far right of this slide. And as the Prime Minister said, this is a record number of cases. I'm afraid we have to be realistic that records will be broken a lot over the next few weeks as the rates continue to go up. If you look at the overall rates, it looks as if Delta, which we've had with us for a while, is still flat, and the growth is Omicron. So what we've got is two epidemics on top of one another, an existing Delta epidemic, roughly flat, and a growing Omicron, very rapidly growing Omicron epidemic on top of it. Next slide, please. When it comes to hospitalisations, this really always, of course, reflects where we were two or more weeks ago, and therefore the rates have remained reasonably flat over quite a while, reflecting where we've been with Delta over the last several weeks. So rates are currently flat, but they are beginning to increase in some places, particularly in London. Next slide, please. And deaths, of course, reflect what happened even earlier in time, and those are still, if anything, going down very slightly. But this, of course, doesn't reflect anything in terms of Omicron, because the emergence of Omicron and its spread is far too recent. Next slide, please.
I quench the thirst.
Burberry Hero, the new fragrance for men.
Dr. Kanani is going to talk more about the vaccination in a minute, but I just wanted to give a visual picture of the speed at which the initial rollout, that's in blue, the second dose, which is in orange, and now the booster rollout is occurring in red. And as you can see, it's going up very rapidly and accelerating, and that will continue to happen over the next period of time. Next slide, please. When I showed this slide at the last session, people said they wanted a bit more time on it, and I want to make 2 points on it. What this shows is what the hospitalisation rates and different age groups, where in the dark bars are people who are not vaccinated, and the orange bars are the people who are vaccinated with 2 doses. First point, this provides massive amounts of protection against hospitalisation against Delta. This is what we're showing. But what we're expecting to happen with Omicron is that some of that difference is going to be eroded because it is the vaccines are less well matched to the Omicron variant. This is what the laboratory data are implying. We don't have clear clinical data yet. And therefore, the point of the booster is to try and get people back to as good a position in terms of replicating this really good protection after they've had their booster dose. It will additionally provide protection against Delta and other variants. So that is really what we're aiming to do. But this is, when people say, do vaccines work? I really do think if people look at these data, they cannot really argue, except that vaccines are remarkable at working. But people do still go into hospital even when they're double vaccinated, and they will still go into hospital even after boosters. But their risks are much reduced. Next slide, please. Now moving on to Omicron. And what I'm showing here is a screening test for Omicron. These aren't genotype things. This is what's called S-gene target failure, but now any S-gene target failure pretty well represents an Omicron case. And the reason we're showing this is you get these data earlier than you get the data from the full genotyping. So it's more up to date. Now, I'd like to point out two things with this. The first of which is the count of numbers is now going up very fast. I'd like to point out also that the grayed out bars, those data are incomplete and will increase. Again, I saw some commentary that said, that shows it's going away next time. The last bits of data, and the same is true in the UK, it's also true incidentally in South Africa, the last bits of data will always increase as new data comes in. But both the numbers, but also the percentage of cases is steadily rising. So an increasing percentage of all of our cases is now Omicron, but that's not because Delta's going away, it's because Omicron's being built on top of that. Next slide, please. The final slide I wanted to show is really just to show that this is happening across the whole of England. It's also happening very clearly in Scotland and beginning to happen in Wales and Northern Ireland. But these are data from England. In London now, the majority of cases in London are going to be Omicron, and therefore that is going to be where we will be from the time we get to probably Christmas onwards. I would expect most cases going to hospital to start to be Omicron cases. I would like to make one final point before I hand on over to Dr. Kanani, which is I think that there has been a certain amount of commentary about the fact that doctors and scientists from South Africa, and I really want to pay huge tribute to South African science and medicine, what they've done so quickly has been remarkable, have indicated that there may be some reduction in the hospitalisation rates they're seeing with Omicron. And I want to put a really serious caution on this, because I think it has been overinterpreted. The first caution on this is simply a numerical one. If the rate of hospitalisation were to halve, but you're doubling every 2 days, in 2 days you're back to where you were before you actually had the hospitalisation. If the peak of this is twice as great, then halving of the hospitalisation rate, you still end up in the same place. And this peak is going very fast. But the second point I wanted to make, which I'm not sure has fully been absorbed by everybody, is that the amount of immunity in South Africa for this wave, because of a prior Delta wave in vaccination, is far higher than it was for their last wave. And therefore, the fact that there is a lower hospitalisation rate is unsurprising. So if you think about what happened to us in the UK with our alpha wave in January, February this year, the infection hospitalisation rate for people over 65 was around 22% prior to vaccination. Once you have a lot of immunity due to primarily vaccination and then also some natural infection, the infection hospitalisation rate in the same age group has dropped to 6%. That's just because there's more immunity. Well, there is more immunity in South Africa now than there was in their last wave. Therefore, some degree of drop is to be expected. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't some degree of slightly milder disease. That is possible, but I just think there's a danger people have overinterpreted this to say this is not a problem and what are we worrying about. I want to be clear, I'm afraid this is going to be a problem. Exact proportions of it, of course, South African scientists and UK scientists and scientists globally are trying to determine at the moment. I'd like to just pass on for the last slide to Dr. Kanani. Nikki.
Nikki, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So there is clearly one single challenge that our country faces right now, but we have two asks of you as a member of the public. One is please come forward and get your booster. And if you're unvaccinated, come forward and get your first dose. Or if you're severely immunosuppressed, get your third dose. Your vaccine is there and it's waiting for you. And our second ask is please help your incredible NHS team. Come and work with us as a volunteer or a paid member because we need your help. Since the Prime Minister and our Chief Exec, Amanda Pritchard, set out the call to the nation, the national mission around vaccination, we've seen an incredible response. And it's the sort of response we've seen all through the pandemic and through the first part of the vaccination programme. People have come forward again and again to help us, but to get protected as well. And as I've been around the country visiting vaccination sites, I have seen queues around the block. but people have been incredibly kind and thoughtful and patient, looking after our NHS teams while they wait to get protected. Our NHS teams have done an incredible job. Day on day, we are now seeing record-breaking numbers. Yesterday, we saw an incredible amount of vaccinations delivered by community pharmacy alone, absolutely through the roof, and they're doing a fantastic job. But you need to do your part. From today, you're able to book an appointment online to get your vaccination if you're over the age of 18. You go to the national booking system and you can book a time and date that suits you near to where you live. Or if you're travelling, you could book somewhere near to the work that you have to do if you're an essential worker, because we're making it more convenient than ever to get protected. We've already vaccinated over 20 million people with their booster doses. That's over half of eligible 18 and overs and 3/4 of eligible 50 pluses. That's a huge number. And today, when we open the national booking service to everybody who's eligible over 18, we had over 500,000. So that's over 500,000 bookings by the time I left the office to come over here. So I know that everybody wants to play their part. So thank you for coming forward when you're asked to. Thank you for booking now that you're able to. My thanks, of course, need to go to our NHS and voluntary teams who once again are pulling out all the stops. I know that you're tired. I know that this feels hard, but I also know that you can do it. I've heard from countless people around the country saying, we want to help you, we want to help the programme, we want to respond to the mission, because fighting Omicron is the most important thing that we can do. But I want to reassure you that while our GP teams who have been delivering the lion's share of vaccinations will be vaccinating more again, they will also protect urgent and life-saving care alongside cancer care. So be patient with your NHS and with your general practice teams, because they're trying to do everything to protect you as quickly as possible. As the Prime Minister said, our teams are getting out into the community, just like at the beginning of the programme. We are going door to door to look after the housebound. We are asking the severely immunosuppressed to get protected as quickly as possible with their booster if they've already had their first 3 doses. We're asking teachers to come forward during the school holidays to get protected before school starts again. We have got pop-ups, we've got mobile units, we're working with community and faith leaders to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to get this protection. So please come forward. And as the Prime Minister said, we have lots of opportunities to help. I know of many people, many of my friends who I'm incredibly proud of, who are busy as it is, who are saying, I want to come forward and I want to help at vaccination sites around the country. And any little that you can do will help us to deliver this enormous ask. Our team are working as quickly as possible to get volunteers onto the front line. And I just want to make sure that you know that you can all play your part. Get tested when you're asked to and follow the government guidelines. Make sure that you focus on getting your booster if you haven't already. And if you're able to, come forward and join this fight against Omicron. Because I promise you, if you can come and help us, our NHS will be here for you. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Nikki, and thank you for everything that you and your teams are doing. It's absolutely amazing. Can we go now to questions from the public? Teresa from Starbridge. I'll read Teresa's question out. If initial steps to prevent the spread
Broadcasting live online.
Turn it on.
Turn it up.
Show them you got the Coco set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Star Radio. We don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we call them London.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Star Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive a king. Hey, listeners, yes, let earth receive a king. It is Starr Radio UK. I'm Archie, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Okay, let me take this opportunity to say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. And welcome to the 20th day of December, the year 2021. And it's the Star Radio UK morning show. It's great to be back. And I'm back, right? Thanks to every one of you who, during the past couple of weeks, were there supporting us and supporting me as well. Let me take this opportunity to say massive good morning to my team. Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olaimi Koiki, Kojo D, Felix all the way in Aberdeen, HRH Linda Pallien, all presenters of Star Radio UK and management as well, of course. I salute you all and I welcome you to the program once again. To our lovely listeners, those of you in the US, Mr. Isaac Makiva and your family there, I say massive good morning to you, bro. To all the Makivas. Sidel and Albert, good morning to you. Come from heaven in Minnesota. Mr. Buama in Texas, and all you wonderful people who listen to us on Starr Radio UK there. We salute you all this morning. We want to welcome you to today's edition of the morning show. 5 days more for Christmas. How is your shopping going? Do you want to join the lastminute.com people? Then make sure that you just get in touch with me. I'll tell you what we do. Lastminute.com. Well, some Christmas stews made in the African pot. Let me say a special good morning to Dr. Morton, Mr. David Kluche, Mr. Malik Dramani Mahama, Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, my brother Kwame. Hey. Massive good morning to you. To all my wonderful South African listeners, Mr. Beneza Hamon, Chantel, and all you guys in the office this morning, getting yourself all ready. I know you are busy. This insurance people, massive good morning to you. But thanks again for tuning in to listen to us wherever you are listening to us across the globe, from Asia to Europe to Australia to Africa to the Americas. I salute you all there, especially my listeners in Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, South Africa. Oh, hello to you. Okay. Well, 10:47 the time. We have to take you to number 10 Downing Street for that press conference that the Prime Minister was bringing this morning. Well, at the moment, there have not been any changes to the regulation or the restrictions there. So what is being said is that you put on your mask. But this evening, there's going to be another press conference by the Prime Minister. We don't know what is going to happen, but the Health Minister or the Health Secretary was saying that, well, everything is possible now before Christmas. Well, we know some information coming through shows that maybe, or it's most likely that after Christmas is when some restrictions are going to be, more restrictions are going to come in. But whatever it is, wherever you are, doesn't matter what the government is doing, whether they gathered during a lockdown and all those things, you take good care of yourself. That is what is important. If you are due for your job, just go get it. If you are due for a booster, go get it. If you are isolating, please isolate. Whatever thing that you can do to help fight this Omicron variant, please do your best to do it. But share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. So, a special morning here, the 20th day of December, the year 2021, with the time now exactly 10:49. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Of course, I remain yours sincerely.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Let me take the opportunity to say good morning to Queen Alicia Hicks. Alicia Hickson, I hope you are doing very, very well. To all presenters of Starr Radio UK, I salute you all for the good work that you've done. Then if you say welcome to good morning to you. Empress Regina, yes, massive good morning to you. Mr. Dave West, massive good morning to you all. Okay, to the one and only HRH Linda Pallien all the way in Cyprus, massive morning to you. Well, for your information, inside the program is going to go today. If it's the first time of tuning in to listen to us, I'm going to bring you the quote of the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update, of course. We'll move on from 10 to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. Then after that, I'll bring you some updates from Nigeria that I've got. Mr. Laimi Koiki, morning to you. So I'll be bringing you that. After that, we'll be moving on to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. From the UK to every other part of the world. As I say all the time, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. If it's making the headlines, why not? I promise you we're going to touch on it. When I move on from there, at 12 o'clock exactly, I'll open the lines for you to add your voice to the conversation. Give you the opportunity, of course. But before then, if you have any information or anything that you want to share with us, feel free to do so by just posting it on our Facebook page. But you know what you can do for me? Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages on all the social media platforms that we find ourselves. Once again, welcome to the show. At 12:45 exactly, we'll be bringing the curtains down, and then we're crossing over to Cyprus, where we have HRH Linda Pallien joining us on Career 101. Then after that, we bring the program to an end. So in a gist, that's what is going to be happening today. So wherever you are, welcome to the show. Let's make hay while the sun shines. You might not know, maybe there might be restrictions or whatever it is, but hey, until then, make a joyful noise. A bit of church there for you, and let me hear a big amen. Amen. All right then. So the quote for the day says, when you shut yourselves from constructive criticism, you cease to learn. When you shut yourself from constructive criticism, you cease to learn. So learn to take it on the chin. What doesn't break you makes you strong. But you know, some people, they like the criticism that they break. It's not constructive. Everything that you do, they try to castigate it. That's not what we are talking about. We're talking about constructive criticism, giving the person the alternative. I don't think this that you're doing is good. Do that instead. Well, when it comes to the politicians, okay, they have defense for everything, isn't it? All right then. So now let's move on to the weather front. 8 minutes to the top of the hour. It's all been due to the press conference that I didn't want you to miss out on. And therefore, just bear with us as we've mangled up the times. But hey, everything, you're not going to miss anything. As I say all the time, if you are sitting, sit very comfortably. If you are standing, hold on to something. Yes, at times it does get bumpy, but you are short of one thing for sure. I'm going to make sure that you arrive at your destination in peace and not pieces. So once again, welcome. Let's move on straight to the weather front. Let me tell you what is happening on the weather front here in the UK. We've been experiencing some mild weather conditions, but it looks like this morning it's going to continue. Now this afternoon will continue dry and cloudy. And cloud will become increasingly patchy as the day wears on, with bright spells likely to break through the cloud at times. Tonight there will continue to be a mixture of patchy cloud and clear spells. It will remain dry throughout the night with light winds. When it comes to the temperature is going to be 8 degrees and the lowest is going to be 3 degrees. UV level is going to be low, pollution is going to be low as well. And when it comes to sunset, 15:53, and sunrise for tomorrow morning, 08:03 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you today. Monday, the 20th day of December, the year 2021. What a year it has been once again. But well, you're all done yet. What's up? Let me borrow a word from Felix. Prodding on. Okay, no. Let's take a quick break. We come back, then I'll bring you the travel update and we'll continue with the show. Stay tuned, don't you go away. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, I promise you one thing. The program is not going to be void of music. I'm going to bring you lots of music as well. Ease you into the Unitide. I hope that you're doing well. Enjoy.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road. This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay. Now, keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise I'm on the Star Radio UK travel update that comes to you every weekday from 10:40. It's now exactly 10:55. And let's see what is happening on the underground this morning. Yes, the second line has got severe delays. The Hammersmith City, a few delays there as well. But let me bring you details of it. Let me acknowledge my brother, Mr. Evans is all the way in France. Yes, Crazy, I hope you are doing well. So, on the second line, there are severe delays due to train cancellations, and moving on to the Hammersmith City lines as well. There are minor delays due to train cancellations there as well. Now, moving on straight to the Waterloo City line is partly suspended. Oh, there's suspension there. That aside, all the others have got good service. And then London Overground, TFL Rail, DLR, London Tramlink, good service there. But continue to keep your eyes on the roads. I will promise to keep you navigated. Star Radio UK Travel Up there comes to every weekday from 10:40. But coming at a later time today. And let's move on straight to the river bus this morning. Let me tell you what is happening on the river bus. On the river bus this morning, Willie Ferry has got is partially suspended or is suspended. That aside, all the others have got good service there. But keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. And let's move on to the National Rail. On the National Rail, a few incidents here and there. Avanti West Coast has got special service cross country, special service Restaurant Spain and Express, special service Great Anglia, special service Northern Rail, minor delay Scott Rail, special service and Southern has also got special service. Keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I will keep you navigated. I promise. Our bond. Now, on the final segment of the travel updates for June, A10 has got closures A4, closures A20, serious delays, and Central London Red Route, serious delays there as well. And let me say it once again. Well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. Now you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Hi guys, this is your friend Urush from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Well, a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year to you wherever you might be. Star Radio UK.
It's Christmas, listeners. It is Star Radio UK. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Okay, so now let's go look at some of the stories making the rounds. That's what Global Trotting. Okay, when it comes to the stories making the rounds across the globe, Global Trotting, ministers consider measures to tackle Omicron surge. Now, civil servants have prepared 3 options ranging in stringency for ministers to look at. But well, Javid refuses to rule out more rules and action needed to limit hospitalization, Sage is saying, and we'll be telling you more what the rules are this morning. Well, in In defense of a garden photo that has been, speculated or going round or spreading or making the waves. Number 10 says the garden photo shows work meeting. An image shows the Prime Minister, his wife, and 17 staff members with wine in the number 10 garden, allegedly, during lockdown. But you know, during the lockdown, there were management that was supposed to be thinking. There were people who were supposed to be thinking. So maybe that was what they were doing. But we give them some break, you know. They needed something to calm themselves down. Can you just imagine how much money they were supposed to, cough up for the fellow scheme and all the community that was coming with it? Well. So at times they needed to chill. They needed to scratch their heads. And they were having wine and cheese. I don't know that story about this wine and cheese stuff, you know. Well. Those of you who like drinking alcohol, maybe you understand that wine and cheese. Oh, what's special about that? Okay then, it is Starr Radio UK. Tell me more about it. I want to know what's special about wine and cheese. And some other stories making around here in the UK. Dominic Raab, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Justice Minister has come to say that he said ministers will keep reviewing the data hour by hour as they consider 3 options of COVID measures. And then vulnerable patients of a new COVID drug. The drug Sotrovimab is given as an infusion to high-risk patients who have caught the virus. Okay, so at least there is some headway there. And the pubs and restaurants call for urgent help. Now, hospitality firm says action is needed in the next 24 hours as they struggle with the Omicron impact. Well, some of them are saying that, well, we don't want any further restrictions, but the issue is that if your staff have tested positive and therefore have to stay away from work, and you have majority of the staff, that means that you'll not be able to function properly. So it's neither here or there. You might have to find a common ground and then work on that. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, UK shoppers avoid high streets amid Omicron fears. Now consumers shun city centres in favour of retail parks during the peak Christmas shopping weekend. Well, so a few of us who went into the town centres to monitor staff found out that, well, they were, to our surprise, the number of people in town wasn't as normally it would be. There are people who don't want to be tested positive. If you test positive now, then you have to isolate. You cannot be part of the Christmas. For your 10 days will elapse at the end of the Christmas. Oh my. And I think even the New Year as well, you know. Well, so please do your best. Okay, now moving on to other parts of the world. Torture to death, Myanmar mass killings revealed. Well, investigation finds evidence Myanmar military killed 40 villagers in July, torturing some to death. Wow! And then Christmas travel will spread Omicron once Fauci, the U.S. infectious disease chief, says the COVID-19 variant will spread even among the vaccinated. And I know it has spread among the vaccinated. I know a few people who have caught it. Now, Pope Francis says domestic abuse almost satanic. It's not almost, it is satanic. And the Pope has often spoken out against domestic violence, but Sunday's remarks are his strongest yet. Leftists to become Chile's youngest ever president, Gabriel Boric, 35, says he will look after democracy after a convincing win over his far-right rival. Well, we hope so. Well, pro-China candidate sweeps Patriot HK Hong Kong election. The results for the controversial poll came after the city saw its lowest ever voter turnout. But after all, they're now allowing them to choose whoever they actually want. So we present you this candidate, now go vote for them. Some kind of democracy. Well, somebody tell them if it's working, why not? Well, it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. 5 minutes past the top of the hour. That's 5 minutes past 11. Well, Pallien is denying household claims, but concerns persist. The Chinese tennis star says her post was misunderstood, but the WTA continues to demand an inquiry. Well, are you going to get an inquiry? No way, from hell they won't give it to you. Iran execution sparks rare anti-government protests. The death sentence handed to Kurdish man Haydar Gobani was viewed by rights groups as political. And West Bank ambush suspects captured. Israel says the army says it has caught Palestinians suspected of a deadly attack in the occupied West Bank. That's some of the stories making the rounds there. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Germany tightens restriction on UK travelers. Germany follows France in banning British tourists and business travelers over Omicron concerns. Well. And Irish hospitality restrictions come into force from Monday. Pubs, restaurants, cinemas and cultural venues must close by 20 hours. You know, that ones, I don't think it makes sense, you know. Because if you say close at 20 hours, okay, now if people come in whatever time, or is it that's the time that people get drunk, or you got lots of people coming in to the pubs because maybe after work they are all coming in there, and by the time they get drunk, if somebody's going to get drunk, how long does it take for somebody to get drunk? Now you tell me if you're an expert in that field. Okay, Starr Radio UK. Well, Liz Truss has replaced Lord Frost in post-Brexit talks. The Foreign Secretary will become the UK's lead negotiator with the EU over the Northern Ireland Protocol. So who is going to be the Foreign Secretary? We'll be bringing you more on that front. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Ethiopian military retakes World Heritage Site. Tigray forces have left Lalibela, a town famous for its rock-hewn churches. And a suspended Gabon youth coach has denied male rape claims. Patrick Ayi, a former Gabon under-17 coach, is suspended from football after multiple claims of sexual abuse against him, which he denied. Why in Nigeria, COVID passports threaten Nigeria's party plans. Nigeria was briefly put on the UK's travel red list, but most people are indifferent to coronavirus. And the EU alarm at Russian mercenaries in Central Africa. The shadowy Russian mercenary group, allegedly linked to the Kremlin, has been accused of right abuses. And a massive anti-coup protest sweep Sudan. Demonstrations around the country demand an end to military rule following a coup in October. Though they've reinstated the Prime Minister, yet the demonstrations still goes on. So what do they now want? That's the question that people are asking now. It's all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you. Overland, overseas. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you.
Now when it comes to Nigeria, Keyamo discloses major causes of terrorism, banditry, corruption in Nigeria. I'll be bringing you more on that front. And the Kaduna government bans social gathering in school premises. And then Supreme Court voids conviction of senior advocate of Nigeria, Joseph Nwobike. Well, they're all going to be coming your way with details from update from Nigeria in a moment. Buratai blames ignorance, weak justice system, poor leadership for insecurity. Ignorance, weak justice system, on whose part? Is it government, or is it the federal government, or the state government? Well, we'll be looking into that in a moment. Moving on straight to Ghana as well. Mama agent to embark on nationwide strike on Thursday. police have gunned down 5 land guards to foil assassination attempt. Now, how can Ghana get rid of this land guard issue? Should government take over all the lands? When any land is sold, then they can give a percentage or whatever to, the custodians of the lands, the chiefs and stuff like that. I know in the past, that's what Kofi Ali has been against them. He said that, well, what are they doing? All that they do is just sit down and sell some lands and say that, well, we are making ourselves, we are chiefs or whatever. So the central government should be handed over all the lands, and then they sell, and then they can give percentages to the chiefs of that particular community. Show us evidence of your thought through policy, Ekufuado Des Mahama. We are better than NDC, even under COVID, but Umia is saying, do you think Ghana is in a better position? Well, it's all Starr Radio UK. Wow. I hope that you are still enjoying that Christmas tune in the background. The 2021 budget appropriation bill, minority tied to the apron strings of the majority. That's what Citizen Vigilante is saying. Me do. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. MPP went on a delegates meeting or conference or whatever they did in Kumasi, and some stories coming through shows that Alan Chemantin wasn't seen in the glare the way he's supposed to have been seen, and some of the view that he chickened out of the MPP delegates conference as Ashanti MPP hailed the Bawumia. Do you think that he's reading the writing on the wall and thinking that, there's no need to waste any more time? Well, Parliament to consider approval of e-levy bill today. Now, if you're listening to me, you're going to be, as you normally do, you're going to be, remitting some money, some funds to your family back home, especially those of you in the diaspora. And then, apart from whatever you are paying, they're going to be surcharged there as well. What do you think about all that? This and a lot more I'm going to be having a look at. The government is not backing down. That's until he says that don't put impediments in the way of government because we need taxes. We need taxes to develop the country. But the question is, have they been accountable enough to us for all the taxes that they've collected in the past? Well, they're saying that they are better than the NDC. Well, if you've been in government for 5 years, let me put it that way, and you still want to blame the past for whatever you are doing now, then I think that you have a problem. Well, is there a problem or not? Maybe I'm looking at it from a different perspective or a different point of view, but you'll be allowed to add your voice in the discussions wherever you are. I once again want to say thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to take a quick break. We come back at 11:15, and then we look at the updates from Nigeria, some of the details of the story that's made around. So stay tuned, don't you go away, don't you worry, some more music going to be coming your way. Yes, putting you in the Christmas mood. What about that? It is Starr Radio UK. Of course, I'm Archie. Enjoy.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global.
We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And I'm going to say good morning to Chris Fadele, CEO of Gabby Dave, and to Mr. Dante Berry, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services. Yeah. You have any accountancy issue, get in touch with him. If you want to trade e-commerce on a platform where you can reach out to any corner of the world. I mean, you are in Africa, you will not have the opportunity to trade on eBay and stuff like that. Please. This is a platform for you. So make sure you are on it, and making sure you make hay while the sun shines. Yes, when there is that opportunity, why don't you hawk into it and make good use of it? All right then. So now let's move on straight to Nigeria with the updates from Nigeria. It's now 17 minutes past the top of the hour. Okay, now US-based Nigeria Michael Viamada launches new book, Over 100 Years of Five Chronicles. And then NCC sets new mobile international termination rate for voice service. Let me bring you that one because it's quite interesting. Yes. Okay. So that story, let's look at that first, and then we can look at the other story. The Nigerian Communication Commission has determined the new international termination rate for voice services paid by overseas telecom carriers for terminating international calls on local networks in Nigeria at $0.045. The new rate is contained in the determination of mobile international termination rate issued by the Commission on November 25th, 2021. The 0.045 rate is the floor price for ITR service and shall take effect from January 1, 2022. The rate is to be paid in US dollars to enable Nigerian operators to receive an increasing rate in Naira terms to accommodate devaluation. No license shall charge and or receive effective rate per minute below determined ITR floor rate. As such, payment discounts, volume discounts, and other concessions that has the effect of bringing the effective ITR lower than the rate determined shall be deemed a contravention of the new determination and will attract sanctions in line with the Nigerian Communications Enforcement Process, etc. Regulation 2019. The ITR floor is the minimum that can be charged. Operators will be free to negotiate a rate above the floor, and this will be entirely left to commercial negotiation between the operators and international carriers and partners. However, while the ITR only pertains to the cost of bringing traffic into Nigeria, Nigerian operators will continue to pay the regulated mobile termination rate, the MTR, the local termination rate among themselves. The MTR of 3.90 Naira for generic 2G, 3G, 4G operators, and 4.70 for new entrants long-term evaluation that the LTE operators determined in 2018 will continue to apply for local termination until a new rate is determined by the Commission in pursuant to its powers as enshrined in Nigeria's Communication Act NCA 2003. The subsisting regime of interconnection rates was sustained by the Commission's mobile voice termination rate issued on June the 1st, 2018 in the determination. It was stated that the ITR of 24.4 naira determined in 2016 will continue to apply until a new determination is made. So, well, if you phone Nigeria, if they are listening to it, you know what it comes with that. Oh my. That is why I'll say it all the time. Those of you who listen to us in that part of the world, on the African continent especially, I dock my hat out to you, because hey, it costs you an arm and a leg to listen to us, yet you do your best to still listen to us, and we are so grateful to you for doing so. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Kayamo discloses major causes of terrorism and banditry, corruption in Nigeria. Now, what is the stake? Now, Festus Kayamo, the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, has disclosed one of the major causes of banditry, terrorism, and corruption in Nigeria. Kayamo disclosed that the unemployment is a remote cause of insecurity in Nigeria. He, however, noted that the federal government was working to address the issue of terrorism and unemployment in the country. Now, Kayamo disclosed that this at an empowerment program held in Jos Plateau State. He was represented by Abubakar Nuhu Fikpo, Director General of the National Directorate of Employment, NDE. A statement issued by the NDE on Sunday quoted the minister saying, "You will all agree with me that unemployment is one of the remote causes of banditry, terrorism, corruption, and other forms of criminality. Even though the federal government is working hard to check terrorism and all other forms of criminality and violent crimes, it is equally prosecuting the war against mass unemployment. I am proud that the National Directorate of Employment, the NDE, whose board I am privileged to chair and also direct, supervises is effectively leading the war against mass unemployment." Well, we say kudos to them. We hope that whatever decisions they are making and whatever opportunities they are doing will also come speedily, so that as and when they wait, things are still happening, and things will happen. What about that? It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's move on straight to some other stories as well. The Kaduna government bans social gathering in school premises. The Kaduna state government has banned all social events, weddings, shows, and entertainment in public school premises. The permanent secretary, Ministry of Education, Dr. Yusuf Saleh, said this in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria in Kaduna. Saleh said the move was to protect school infrastructure from vandals. For a very long time, some of our schools were being used for all kinds of activities, and at the end of the day, school facilities were being vandalized. Now, every day, we receive complaints and demands from citizens to construct, renovate, or fix one facility or other in schools, and this involves a lot of money. It is therefore critical to take proactive steps to protect the school's infrastructure, and this is one of such steps, he said. But if you're listening to me, especially those small communities here in the UK, we have events, some events that go happens in a school assembly hall. I know that the construction of our schools back in Africa and here are quite different. However, if you look at the assembly hall of a school, where over the weekend it will sit, nothing being done to it, or when it comes to holidays, it will sit, nothing not being used, no monetizing happening to it. Don't you think that if they rent it out to people and those people are supposed to pay a guarantee, whatever the deposit, just in case there is a damage or anything that is caused, they can still make some money from that? So do you think that this decision that this minister has made is not an knee-jerk reaction to what is happening? Well, I know some people, I mean, when there are events where some unruly people will go on to be destroying infrastructure, you go to parties, especially end of year parties, and I remember the last company I worked for, and then we went for a Christmas party in a very plush hotel, and then the bosses of the company were there, and one of these guys, one of the young ones, just jumped on the table. Then the boss just said, "No, get down." Now he was there because he knew that if there was any damage, he would be charged for that. And when people get drunk a bit and they just want to misbehave, he just shut him down. So why are there no supervisors there? Why are people not around to see that? Are they not what do you call it? What is here I've forgotten the name that we call them, but back there, well, call them security or management of the school infrastructure. Are they not there? The head teachers not there to oversee all those things and make sure that if there is any damage, the person is surcharged, or are they already damaged and therefore we don't know whether these people damage it or well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. 11:26 the time, the Monday edition of the morning show. So what do you think? I bet you lots of churches who, I mean, little young churches, let me put it that way, or young groups of communities who normally use such facilities will not have the privilege of using it, and what will happen to them? What will happen to them? So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The Supreme Court has set aside the conviction and 1 month imprisonment of a senior advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Joseph Nwabike, who was charged with an attempt to pervert the course of justice. In a unanimous decision on Monday, a 5-member panel of the Supreme Court, led by Justice Olukayode Ariwola, faulted the earlier decision at the Lagos High Court and the Court of Appeal Lagos and proceeded to uphold Nwabike's appeal. It held, among others, that the High Court of Lagos was wrong in convicting Nwabike on the offense, while the Court of Appeal erred in upholding his conviction and sentencing on the offense of attempt to pervert the course of justice. The Apex Court noted that the Section 97, subsection C of the Administration of Criminal Justice Law of Lagos State, under which he was charged, did not clearly define what constitutes a perversion of justice, and that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that the EFCC, lacks the power to investigate and prosecute the offense of perversion of the course of justice. The EFCC had, among others, accused him of exchanging text messages with court officials on the assignment of his cases and when such cases should be heard. Well, do you think it's a fair thing? Somebody will say, well, they are the interpreters of the laws of the state, and I've seen it, sat and looked at it and said, no. They've erred here, they've erred there. But if it was just an ordinary citizen, what would have happened to them? Would they have the opportunity of somebody fighting their cause like that, looking into the law and saying, no, you faulted in this judgment? Well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio, okay? Your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And the final story from Nigeria before we take a musical break, and then we come back to look at some of the other stories making the rounds. Now, Burata is blaming ignorance, weak justice system, poor leadership for insecurity. Ambassador Tilko Buratai has identified ignorance, weak justice system, and poor leadership, among others, as factors responsible for insecurity and other social challenges in the country. Before then, you remember I did talk about Keyamo, who was saying that he reckons what is causing this insecurity, terrorism, and all those baits is because of the huge number of unemployed people. Okay, now Buratai, Nigeria's ambassador to the Republic of Benin, said this at the groundbreaking and fundraiser for Tuko Buratai Research Center at Gora in the Nasarawa State. The former chief of Army Staff said the center will collaborate with the Nasarawa State University, KEFI, in the fields of strategic studies, peace and conflict studies, and leadership for development. He said one may want to know why a retired general cum diplomat will decide to collaborate with the university to set up a think tank like TBRC. Now, since this is a strategic question, I will respond with an answer that is precise and straight to the point. My simple philosophy about life is to continue to live a life of value by improving on the system that we have. Now, as someone from the military, I reckon the best way for me and my associates to add value for our society and make our country better and stronger is through a think tank like the TBC. Now, Buratai said Nigeria has potential for greatness, but there were insufficient capabilities to transfer those potentials into social economic benefits for the people. And that is where I bring the updates from Nigeria to a close. It is Starr Radio UK, and it's just gone exactly 11:30. We're going to take a break, and once we come back, we'll continue with the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. This evening is at 5 o'clock. Empress Regina, or as we call her, Queen Regina, will be coming your way with the on point. Yes? So stay tuned, don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Okay, so let's take some Christmas tune from Nigeria Port, from the Nigerian Port. And this is from Solomon Lange. He says, Niger Christmas. Enjoy.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
Star Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Let there be peace all over Nigeria. Let we jubilate, oh, jubilate. Let we celebrate, oh, celebrate. Let we jubilate, oh, sister. Merry Christmas to you.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Let there be peace all over the land. Let there be peace. Let there be peace all over Nigeria. Let we jubilate, oh. Let we jubilate. Let we celebrate, oh. Let we celebrate. Let we jubilate, oh. Merry Christmas to you. Let there be peace all over the land. Let there be peace all over Nigeria. Let we jubilate, oh, let we celebrate, oh, celebrate, jubilate, oh. Merry Christmas to you.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
At home.
On your smartphone.
To the coastal forests of the Atlantic and into the nation's central hinterlands, peace shall reign. For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, for he is the King of peace. Merry Christmas, Nigeria. Merry Christmas, Africa. Merry Christmas.
Let there be peace all over the land. Let there be peace. Let there be peace all over Nigeria. Let we jubilate, oh, let jubilate, jubilate.
This is Star Radio UK.
Let we jubilate, oh. Merry Christmas to you.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's now gone 11:41 from the hearts of London. It's a Monday edition of the morning show. Yes, the 20th day of December, 5 days more for Christmas. Yes, I'm thinking about, I need to get a list of things that I need to do or things that I need to buy. Can you help me out? If it's your plight like mine, help me out there. All right then. Now let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds from home here to other parts of the world. Ministers consider measures to tackle Omicron surge. That's the story it's making the rounds there. The first story. Okay, but Labour is ready to support restrictions. That's what Keir Starmer is saying. Ministers will be holding a virtual cabinet meeting this afternoon. Information is coming through with that, and they are due to hold the discussions at 14 hours, that is 2 p.m. Now, information says that different options of possible COVID measures are currently being considered. But remember, this morning I brought you a live feed from 10 Downing Street pertaining to a press conference that was being held. Okay, now Labour is ready to support further restrictions to slow the spread of Omicron if the government deems that necessary, Keir Starmer is saying. The Labour leader says the government has been hinting at further restrictions, but it's more tied up with party matters than public health. He said it's for the Prime Minister to come up with a plan with support for schools and businesses. Get on with the job, bringing forward the plan. We will support it if the right plan is in the public interest. Now, Starmer refuses to be drawn on whether he thinks the current restrictions are enough or what measures he will put in place if he were the Prime Minister. He says there is a vacuum of leadership and infighting in the Conservative Party, which is taking attention away from tackling the coronavirus. Well, the other countries, the Omicron variant has now been found in dozens of countries and others spreading rapidly, according to the World Health Organization. The UK is considering 3 different options of possible COVID measures. Other nations, European bracing for the spread and introducing new caps to try to stop that. One of the caps has been one of the measures has been to stop the UK British citizens from people from Britain traveling into France and Germany and some other European countries as well. Well, what is going to happen to the US? Are they going to ban it? Well, so coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, do I want to go on that path? Yes, let me still touch on it. The government can't make hard, fast guarantees that there will not be a Christmas lockdown, Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab has said. Now, I'm not going to trail things when decisions haven't been made. He said, when asked whether England can expect more restrictions in the coming days. Now, ministers are considering 3 different options of possible COVID measures. They will meet for a virtual cabinet meeting. As I said earlier on, the new Omicron variant is continuing to spread quickly across the country, with a number of confirmed cases shooting up last week. I know some news reports are reporting the new restrictions could be brought in before Christmas in England, with the Daily Telegraph saying that options under consideration include curbs and household mixing or forcing pubs and restaurants to close early. Which one would you opt for? If you were an advisor to the Prime Minister, which one would you advise him to take under such a circumstance? Well, it's all Star Radio UK. Well, another picture has gone viral, and this time around pertaining to another Boris Johnson, his wife, and 17 members in the Downing Street garden with bottles of wine and a cheese board. Shows them having work meeting. Number 10 has said. The Guardian, which published the image, says the gathering took place in May 2020 after a press conference held during the first lockdown. At the time, there were strict restrictions on mixing. Number 10 said work meeting often took place outside during summer months. Now, Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab said, if you think how hard people in Downing Street are working under the pressure of the week, they sometimes have a drink, and that's what's happening there. But Labour leader Keir Starmer said it was a stretch to call the gathering a work meeting. It also showed a contrast between the Prime Minister and people who were unable to attend funerals of loved ones at the time because of the lockdowns, he added. An investigation is currently taking place into a number of alleged parties within Downing Street in November and December last year. Is this what Partygate going to be troubling the Prime Minister, or is it going to just, how did they do it? Yeah. Just drop it off. Is that what it's going to be doing? Or it's somehow being a tough cookie when it comes to things like that. He's able to just, and then, so maybe that's what happened. Now, well, it's all coming your way from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, some good information coming through. Vulnerable patients are being offered new COVID drugs. But I know people are concerned about, well, how long has it been tested and all that? We've not had COVID for long. What are going to be the side effects? But a new COVID drug designed to reduce the risk of vulnerable patients needing hospital treatment will be available on the NHS from today. Now, Sotrovimab is a monoclonal antibody given as a transfusion to transplant recipients, cancer patients, and other high-risk groups. If given quickly after symptoms develop, it should help prevent people from falling seriously ill with the disease. Now, initial tests suggest it should still work against the Omicron variant. Now, these new drugs have an important role to play, said Professor Stephen Powis, says the National Medical Director of the NHS England. He goes on to say, if you test positive and are at high risk, then we will be contacting you, and if you are eligible, you will be able to get access to this new treatment. Well, so some developments going on there. So we will get to that place, but until then, if you have to go take your booster, please go take it. If you have not taken your jab yet, please go for the first one. If you have taken the first one, you've not taken the second jab, go for it. If you are ones that can't take, there are some people who are exempt. If you are exempt, please do your best. The fact that you are exempt doesn't mean that you are being shielded. No, it's not. So there's a tendency that you can catch it, okay? But because you're exempt from taking vaccine, then you have to make sure that you protect yourself and protect your loved ones. What about that? Well, it's all coming your way from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 11:49. That's 11 minutes to 12. Now let's move on to other parts of the world. Look at some of the stories making the rounds there. Well, as you know, Omicron is across the globe, and therefore we've got Christmas travel will increase the spread of Omicron COVID-19 variant even among the fully vaccinated, the top US infectious disease expert has said. There is no doubt about this. Omicron has an extraordinary capability of spreading. Dr. Anthony Fauci said in a program on Sunday. Dr. Fauci, who advises the U.S. government on the pandemic, said the variant was now raging through the world. Countries are tightening measures as the heavily mutated variant spreads. In Europe, France and Germany are among those to issue travel restrictions, and the Netherlands has imposed a strict lockdown over Christmas. The governments are also ramping up their COVID booster vaccination programs after researchers said the additional shot could provide around 85% protection against severe illness. So, well, a bit of a glimmer of hope there for you if you find yourself in such a situation. But, well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. What is your take on that? Well, looking at another question that is making another story making the rounds. Well, Maxwell tells judge case against her is unproven. I think that was one that I brought away last Friday. The defense struggled to produce witness on Friday, and only 9 out of a proposed 35 testified. Well, and then when it was the turn of Ghislaine Maxwell, she said, well, I don't think that the prosecution have got, or the state have got anything serious against me, and therefore, forget it. I'm not going to do nothing about it. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, senators are vowing to sink key Biden social spending plan. Democrats Joe Manchin throws the Build Back Better Act into jeopardy, saying he will not vote for it. So what is going to be the stance? Well, they have done that, and now, okay, at least things are taking along. But come the new year, what is going to happen? Are we going to see another stock or stalling in the finances of the country? Well, we're going to be looking into all that as the days unfold. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Elected is to become Chile's youngest ever president. And who is he? Well, elected candidate Gabriel Boric has won Chile's presidential election to become the country's youngest ever leader in what was expected to be a tight race. The 35-year-old former protests leader defeated his far-right rival Jose Antonio Cast by 10 points. Mr. Boric told supporters he will look after democracy, promising curbs on Chile's neoliberal economic model. He will lead a country that has been rocked in recent years by mass protests against inequality and corruption. Mr. Boric's victory prompted celebrations on the streets of the capital Santiago, with his supporters waving flags and honking car horns. In a speech, Mr. Boric said he was taking on the job with humility and a tremendous sense of responsibility, vowing to firmly fight against the privilege of a few. In a quote, he said, "We have an enormous challenge. I know that in the coming years, the future of our country is at stake. So I guarantee that I will be a president who cares for democracy and does not risk it, listens more than speaks, seeks unity, and attends to the needs of the people daily," he told supporters. Well, we hope and we pray that that will be what he will be doing once he is now in full control of the steering wheel of that country. Well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Well, official results gave Mr. Boric 56% of the votes against Mr. Cast 44%. Mr. Cast conceded defeat barely an hour and a half after polls closed, and with around half of the ballots counted. Well, so all the best, wishing the best. We hope that he becomes a good leader as he's promising to do. Well, some will say power corrupts, and more power corrupts more. Okay, now let's move on to Europe and have a look at some of the stories making the rounds. Yeah, over the weekend we had the Brexit secretary resigning here in the UK. But well, Liz Truss, the foreign secretary, has replaced Lord Frost in the post-Brexit talks. So is it going to be holding both offices? Let me bring you that. Now, Foreign Secretary Liz Truss will replace Lord Frost as the UK's lead negotiator with the EU on post-Brexit talks. She will retain her role as foreign minister alongside the new post leading negotiations over the Northern Ireland Protocol. It follows the resignation of Lord Frost as Brexit minister on Saturday. MP Chris Hinton Harris will become Minister of State for European, Downing Street said. Now, Mr. Hinton Harris will be replaced at the Transport Department by Wendy Morton, who was previously at the Foreign Office. The Conservative MPs are split over the departure of Lord Frost, who resigned, citing concerns about the current direction of travel of the government. Is it traveling left or right, or what are they talking about there? Well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right, now moving on straight to one story that has been, a statement that has been made this around from the Pope. Pope Francis has condemned domestic abuse as almost satanic. How would you place it? How will you place that? Is it almost satanic, or it is satanic? When you look at somebody, you psychologically abuse them, or you bash them. Look at a couple of months now, or within that span of time, kids, little call it toddlers, who have been killed. So what will you tell me? Almost satanic or satanic? Well, Pope Francis has condemned domestic violence against women as almost satanic in some of his strongest language yet on the issue. The head of the Catholic Church made the remarks during a program broadcast on Italy's TG5 network on Sunday. He spoke to a panel of 4 people from difficult backgrounds, including a survivor of domestic abuse. He lamented the very, very high number of women who are beaten and abused in their homes. The problem is that, for me, it is almost satanic because it is taking advantage of a person who cannot defend herself, who can only try to block the blows, said Pope Francis. It is humiliating, very humiliating. He spoke with a woman named Giovanna, who had said she had escaped from a violent home with her 4 children. The Pope added that women who suffered abuse had not lost their dignity. I see dignity in you, because if you didn't have dignity, you wouldn't be here. He told Giovanna, look at the Blessed Mother and stay with that image of courage. Now, since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, Pope Francis had made several comments about domestic abuse. Incidents of abuse have increased in a number of countries as many people are left trapped with their abusers during lockdown. According to a UN report which covered 13 countries, half of women surveyed said they'd experienced some form of violence since the start of the pandemic. In Italy, police figures released last month reported around 90 episodes of violence against women every day. Now, 62% of these were domestic abuse cases. Now, addressing Giovanna, Pope Francis said it was possible to still have hope even during the pandemic. You are giving an example of resistance, a lesson of resistance to calamities, he said. You're coming out better than before. Bringing the time now to what? Almost 12 o'clock. Let's plod on. Let's finish with the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world before we take a musical break, and then we'll go to Africa. Okay? Well, in Chile, a sad situation. My apologies. In Myanmar, a sad situation happening there. The story says that, well, the Myanmar military has carried out a series of mass killings of civilians in July that resulted in the death of at least 40 men. Investigation has found. Now, eyewitnesses and survivors said the soldiers, some as young as 17, rounded up villages before separating the men and killing them. Now, video footage and images from the incident appear to show most of those killed were tortured first and buried in shallow graves. The killing took place in July in 4 separate incidents in Kani Township, an opposition stronghold in Saganing district in central Myanmar. It thought the killings were a collective punishment for attacks by militia groups demanding a return to democracy following a military coup in February. A spokesman for the military government did not deny the allegation. Did not. The military had faced resistance from civilians since it seized control of the country, which is also called Burma, deposing a democratically elected government led by Aung San Suu Kyi. Some witnesses that were spoken to in Kani and compared their accounts with mobile phone footages and photographs collected by Myanmar Witnesses, a UK-based NGO that investigates human rights abuses in the country. The largest killing took place in Yeni village, where at least 14 men were tortured or beaten to death and their bodies thrown in a forested gully. The witnesses in Yin, whose name was withheld to protect their identities, said men were tied up and with ropes and beaten before they were killed. We couldn't stand to watch it, so we kept our heads down crying, said one woman whose brother, nephew and brother-in-law were killed. We begged them not to do it. They didn't care. They asked the women, "Are your husbands among them? If they are, do you do your last rites?" Oh my God. A man who managed to escape their killing said the soldiers inflicted horrifying abuse on the men for hours before they died. They were tied up, beaten with stones and rifle butts, and tortured all day, the survivor said. Some soldiers looked young, maybe 17 or 18, but some were really old. There was also a woman with them. In nearby Zibin Drain village, in late July, 12 mutilated bodies were found buried in shallow mass graves, including a small body, possibly a child, and the body of a disabled person. Some were mutilated. Well, so that is what is going on there. You look at it, the map that is before me, looking at everything that is going on, it's quite worrying. But someone would say in the in the pidgin English, how for do. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. 3 minutes past the top of the hour at the time. I'll be opening the lines pretty soon. But like I said earlier on, if you want to add your voice to discussion, feel free to do so. You can just post it on our Facebook page before I open the lines. Well, Peng Shui or Shui. I've never been able to mention their name. Well, Chinese tennis star Peng Shui has denied making an accusation of sexual assault in her first media interview since alleging a top Chinese leader had coerced her to have sex. Miss Peng sparked global concern when she disappeared from public view after posting the allegation online. She has now said there had been a lot of misunderstanding about the post. Really? The Women's Tennis Association, WTA, said it was still concerned that she was being censored by the state. In the video interview with Lian Zhaobao, a Singaporean Chinese language newspaper, Miss Peng explained, "I have never said or written that anyone sexually assaulted me. This point must be emphasized very clearly." In her original note, which was posted on the Chinese social media platform Weibo in November, she accused former Vice Premier Zhang Gaoli of forcing her to have sex with him. Miss Peng, who appeared to have trouble hearing the reporter in the interview and seemed surprised at the line of questioning, said she was not under surveillance. "Why would anyone monitor me? I've always been very free," she said. Lian Zhaobao is read in mainland China and has in recent years been known for its pro-Beijing coverage. So it's obvious. Wow! It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One last story before we take the musical break and then go to Africa. Well, in a rare public display of defense in Iran, protesters have shouted anti-government slogans outside the home of Kurdish man who has been executed. Now, crowds gathered in Haydar Gobani's hometown of Kamayaran in Kurdistan province, calling him a martyr. The Gobani, who was 48, was convicted of the murder of 3 people linked to Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard Corps, but he had denied any connection with the killings. A human rights group said he was a political prisoner. Gobani, who was also found guilty of being a member of an exiled armed opposition group, the Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan, the PDKI, that fights for greater autonomy for Iran's Kurdish community. He was executed at Sandandaj prison in northwestern Iran yesterday. Well, may his soul rest in perfect peace. So this is where I bring the first part to close. We're going to take a musical break. We come back and then I'll take you straight to Africa. There's lots happening there. Wow. Stay tuned. Don't you go away.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe helps to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa Claus is on his way. He's bringing lots of toys for them to play, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering the simple face to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
In your car.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the hills we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun to laugh and sing a sleighing song tonight. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Ding dong, Christmas bells are ringing. Caroling, caroling, now we go. Christmas bells are ringing. Caroling, caroling through the snow. Christmas bells are ringing. Joyous voices sweet and clear sing the sad of hearts to cheer. Ding dong, Christmas bells are ringing.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Caroling through the town, Christmas bells are ringing.
Enlighten today with Starr Radio.
Christmas bells are ringing. Mark ye well the songs we sing, glad the tidings we all bring. Ding dong, Christmas bells are ringing.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Joy to
UK. In your car,
At work.
at home.
On your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let us receive our King. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree.
Well, some nice tune coming all the way from the Caribbean by the mighty Sparrow. So Christmas with a Caribbean spin on it. What about that? I hope that you've enjoyed it. Yeah. I told you that the program will not be void of music. I'm going to make sure that I make you feel Christmassy. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Yes, I'm making sure that you feel more Christmassy. If you have not finished parceling or the presents and everything that you are doing whilst you are listening to me, you can go on to do so, because I'm going to make you feel. All right then. Okay. Now, but you will not have go out to eat, you know. Back in Ghana, you can kill a nice good, roast it, the skin, you put it, you sit by the fire, just put it in the roast, just a bit, put a bit of salt on it, and then a bit of pepper, and then maybe a bit of what do you call it, onions on it, roast it a bit, like and then so lovely. That is the Christmas. That is the Christmas. You know, that is the Christmas. I think I need to get myself a massive family house, and then I can be enjoying inside there. Yeah, come next year. That's how the Christmas is going to be. All right then. But wherever you are, you're still glued to Starr Radio UK, and with me, Archie, here this afternoon. It's not going to 30 minutes by the top of the hour. Exactly at 12:45, I will be having HRH Linda Pallien all the way from Cyprus, who will be joining us to bring you Career 101, the Christmas edition. Yes. Okay. So now let's quickly crack on. The numbers to call 0208133227 or 580208133227 or 58. If you happen to be in the US, Caribbean, or Canada, my apology, Canada, the numbers to call are is 001718303237 001718303237. You can also text or WhatsApp at 07539661744 07539661744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Make a date. Let your voice be heard. All right then. Okay, so now let's move on to the stories making the rounds on the African continent. Now, Ethiopia's military has retaken World Heritage sites. It looks like they seem to be, pushing back the what do we call them? The rebels, the Tigrayan rebels. The Ethiopian military has regained control of the historic town of Lalibela from Tigrayan rebels. The move came amid an announcement by the Tigray People's Liberation Front that it's withdrawing from all areas in the Amara and Afar regions. The TPLF said it took the decision to clear the way for peaceful resolution to its conflict with the government. The conflict has caused a massive humanitarian crisis, with international mediation efforts having so far failed. It is unclear when the military retook Lalibela, but Deputy Prime Minister Demeke Mekonnen Hassan visited the town in Amara on Sunday. Now, Lalibela, famous for its rock-hewn churches which date back to the 12th and 13th centuries were designed. They designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1978. The town has changed hands several times since August. On Saturday, the government said its troops had retaken several other towns as well, including Waldia. The TPLF has been withdrawing its fighters to its stronghold of Tigray after being forced to abandon its plan to advance on the capital Addis Ababa. He said the withdrawals were part of essential modification that was making though it did not confirm that it had pulled out of Lalibela and Waldia. Is it that they were beaten back there, or what exactly had happened there? But you look at that site, it's quite an interesting one. A church that has been carved from stones. Wow, how long did it take them to do that? Okay, I think one of the sites that I will want to visit in the future when I go to Ethiopia. Now, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has been to the front lines to lead the fight back against the TPLF. The group has also been hit by airstrikes. Now, thousands of people have been killed, millions have been left homeless, and nearly 10 million are in need of food aid. A fighting broke out over a year ago between government troops and the TPLF following a massive fallout over political reforms introduced by Mr. Abiy when he took office in 2018. The TPLF has dominated the federal government for more than 25 years and now controls most of Tigray. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, still on the African continent before we touch on some other story from Ghana as well. The EU is alarmed at Russian mercenaries in Central Africa. The shadowy Russian mercenary group, allegedly linked to the Kremlin, has been accused of rights abuses. So what exactly are they doing? This week, the European Union imposed sanctions on the Wagner Group, a Russian mercenary organization accused of committing human rights abuses in the Central African Republic and elsewhere. The EU has said that it will no longer train government soldiers because of their links to the Wagner. In Africa, the fighters are also involved in Libya, Sudan, and Mozambique, and look likely to play a role in Mali. The mercenaries are there to support President Faustin Archange Touadéra in the fight against rebels who still control many parts of the country despite recent government advances. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One final story before we go to Ghana. Let me put it that way. One final story before we go to Ghana. Now we know the protests have been going on in Sudan after the coup in October. Now people across Sudan have joined mass protests over the military takeover as they mark the third anniversary of a popular uprising. Hundreds of thousands marched in the capital, Khartoum, where security forces responded with tear gas. The demonstrations in 2019 led to the overthrow of Sudan's long-term authoritarian president Omar al-Bashir. Civilians and military leaders then entered an uneasy power-sharing agreement until the coup in October. Now, last month, the country's ousted Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok was reinstated after being put under house arrest in military takeover. But the move has failed to stop protests in the country, where demonstrators have been calling for an entirely civilian political leadership. On Sunday, protesters marched towards the presidential palace in Khartoum, which is home to the coup leader, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, chanting, "Their people are stronger and retreat is impossible." They also call for General Burhan's downfall. Any form of coup is rejected, even with Hamdok's return to government. Our revolution, the glorious December Revolution, is for the sake of a civil institution and a complete civil authority, not for the sake of individuals, one protester said. The protests were also being held in several other cities across the globe. It is Starr Radio UK, 20 minutes after the top of the hour. That's 20 minutes after 12. And now we're going to cross over to Ghana. That will be after I've brought you some lovely tune there as well. So don't you go away. I told you the program is not going to be void of music. I want you to be in the Christmas mood. Enjoy this one. It's from Nanaba Blue. It says Afishapa. Enjoy.
Oh, come on, yeah, Nana Blue, yeah. Oh, come on, yeah. Oh, come on.
Smartphone.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
It's Christmas! Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Listening to Starr Radio Morning Show.
Music.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medase.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Welcome back to the program. It's now gone exactly 12:25 from the hearts of London, and it is the final set. Okay, we are now touching down in Ghana, where I'm going to bring you the rest of the stories making the rounds. But at 12:45 exactly, we have HRH Linda Pallien going to be joining us in the next 20 minutes. So before then, let's have a look at some of the stories making the rounds in Ghana as well. The former president, John Dramani Mahama, has described President Akufo-Addo as a good campaigner but a poor leader. Now, Mr. Mahama added that the president must take his responsibilities seriously rather than the rabble-rousing skits. Now, Mr. Mahama's response after President Akufo-Addo dared the former president and the National Democratic Congress to show Ghanaians evidence of any thought-through policy while in opposition. The president, while addressing NPP supporters at the National Delegates Conference in Kumasi, said he is aware that Ghanaians are currently going through hardship, but he is working to fix things. Now, in a quote, he said, "We have spent more money in improving circumstances of our people than any government in the Fourth Republic. So when you leave here, be proud that you have produce a government that has been most diligent in improving the lives of the people than any other government in the history of this country. All the things that we have done in government are things we thought about while in opposition. What is the one policy that the NDC and their leader John Mahama have thought about in 5 years that they have been in opposition? There is not one policy. The answer is zero," the president said. Are you in their heads? But in a brutal response, Mr. Mahama said Akufo-Addo is unaware of thought-through policies by the NDC because of his failure to read the People's Manifesto. He goes further to say, "I think the president must take his responsibility seriously and focus on working to change the circumstances of all people rather than the rabble-rousing skits he serves the nation." To answer the rhetorical question on policy, if only he took a moment in the comfort of his chartered jet to read the People's Manifesto, he would have at least learned about the big push, an accelerated infrastructure plan for Ghana, free primary healthcare plan, the 1 million job plan, Ghana First, that's the framework for industrial revitalization support and transformation, and several other well thought through and costed policies. He goes on further to say, "I am willing to provide him with an autographed copy of the manifesto with his speech of yesterday. He has carved his niche as a good campaigner, but unfortunately a poor leader, as Ghanaians have found out at great cost," the former president wrote on Facebook. Now let's go straight to the statement that the president made, which is causing this brouhaha. Okay, I think. Okay, the statement has eluded me. Okay, don't you worry. I'll bring it your way. I promise you. I'll bring it your way. Please, just stay with me. Okay, now the Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana says they will be embarking on a nationwide strike on Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, over the controversial e-levy. In a statement on Monday, the union described the proposed 1.75 e-levy as detrimental to business. As part of their actions to express displeasure with the government's proposed levy, the union through its General Secretary, Ivan Sutumfuo, said, "We see this levy as very regressive and critical to the survival of our businesses." Now, consequently, as part of our demonstration on Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, our services as mobile money agents will not be accessible across the country. Further, the statement said all mobile money agents shall remain closed on Thursday in a bid to send a message to government. The highly contested e-levy was proposed in the 2022 budget by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. The proposed levy seeks to charge 1.75% on all digital money transactions above 100 cedis. Now, despite the government's bid to plead a case for raising necessary resources, many stakeholders have been against the levy, terming it as a stakehold on a budding industry. Now, while there have been talks from the monetary to reduce the levy to 1% and raise the transaction threshold to 300 cedis, the government is yet to issue any directive in that regard. Now, the Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana says if all efforts remain futile, an indefinite action will be taken thereafter. So, do you think they should embark on the strike? They will say, after all, government will say, well, after all, it's not you paying it, it's the end user who is paying it. So, but, you know, I was thinking, whilst I was going through that story earlier, I was thinking, well, if you say the threshold is 100, now is it that when you pay 100 cedis a day, then you'll be surcharged that? In that case, then every day I will send 99 or 90 Ghana, 90 Ghana, 90 Ghana. In a week, I would have sent what? 9 times 7, 630. Wouldn't that be good? Huh? I think that would be a very, very good one. What do you think? Well, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting to know. But somebody would say that when you need money instantly to go and transact something, assuming your kid needs money to go pay their fees, or maybe they are in the boarding house, they need some money to buy some books, or maybe do something, are you going to say that, well, you're going to be remitting bit by bit? To what end? Well, it is all Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Do you think it's the right course? Why should the citizens themselves not embark on a demonstration, okay, to express their displeasure upon this act, but having the agents, the Momo agents, going to do that on behalf of them? I think if people are really upset about it, as people were upset about the LGBTQI plus thing that was going on, and we had what church leaders and everybody coming in, making lots of stakeholders coming in, making lots of noise about it. I think if this is something that they can embark on and make noise about it, that will help them a great deal. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 12:33 the time. Now, one story that's making the rounds. Yes, the 2021 budget appropriation bill. Minority is tied to the apron strings of the majority. That's Amido's assertion or assessment. Now, the former Special Prosecutor Martin Amido has accused the minority in Parliament of being firmly tied to the apron strings of the majority caucus in Parliament. He said the minority has been deceiving Ghanaians to think they have the people's interests at heart, but in reality firmly tied to the apron strings of the majority caucus in such a manner that despite the equally divided Parliament, the President had succeeded in making the legislature by the Speaker Abengbagben an appendage of the executive. Mr. Amido's view followed the minority participation in approving the 145.4 billion Ghana cedis appropriation bill in 2021, despite publicly being against some portions of the 2021 budget. Mr. Amido, in a write-up, described the approval of the appropriation bill as the minority's third betrayal to Ghanaians. Do you agree with him there? He got on further to say the Doubting Thomases who did not believe that the consensus building meeting between the equally divided minority and majority was a choreographed compromise that ripped and defiled the integrity of the constitution and the rule of law in enabling the rejected 2022 budget to be reinstated through a side door on the 30th of November 2021 as an approved 2022 budget should tell Ghanaians the foundation upon which the appropriation bill 2021 was approved in a bipartisan manner in the wee hours of Saturday, the 18th of December. So you see where it's coming from. So that, well, if you were against it totally, you should have done something for us to see. Are you going to be working out, or what can they do? The 2021 budget appropriation bill, he who pays the piper calls the tune in Nanado's one-party kabuki dance ensemble by Martin Wiki Amidu. He says that in that piece that he wrote, he's saying that wee morning of Saturday, 18th of December 2021, the Parliament of Ghana approved the appropriation bill 2021 for 144.4 billion Ghana cedis for the consideration and signature of President Akufo-Addo to become law to govern the government planned expenditure for 2022 fiscal year. The rhetoric of the rejected 2022 budget and approved 2022 budget, which had formed the basis of Nana Akufo-Addo's one-party kabuki dance ensemble, ended successfully in the way the president knows best. He who pays the piper calls the tune, and he rests his case there. So do you agree with him there? Now, well, the president was definitely going to have his way, and that's exactly what has happened there. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One final story before we move on to some music, before we have the one and only HRH Linda, all the way from Cyprus, joining us. The families of the victims of the Edura shooting have appealed to Parliament for budgetary allocation. Now, families of the victims of the Edura shooting have appealed to the leadership of the Parliament for funds to be made available in the 2022 budget to address the unfortunate ramification of the incident. They want the leadership through the Defense and Interior Committee to direct the Finance Minister to make provisions for allocation of funds to compensate affected families. In a letter dated December 12, addressed to the Speaker of Parliament and copied to the Interior Minister and the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament, the families also demanded that appropriate funds be made available to address the recommendations of the committee that was set up to probe the incident. In a quote, they said, "We have the victims and the families of the victims of the unfortunate incidents that occurred in Edura in 29th of June 2021. Bring the letter appearing that Parliament, through the Defense and Interior Committee, requests appropriate budgetary allocation be made to address the ramifications of the incident that occurred in Edura, as well as recommendation of the Presidential Committee set up to investigate the incident." Part of the letter read. Well, now that the budget appropriation has already been approved, and as Amidu has said, do you think there is any leeway for them to say now they're going to be adding anything to it, or is a done deal, so we just have to just move on with our lives? What do you think? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So we're going to take a musical break, and once we come back, we'll be having HRH Linda Pallien joining us. So stay tuned, don't you go away. I'm going to have a sip of some nice cold drink. No cold, warm, hot drink. Okay? All right then. So enjoy this tune, and I'll be with you.
It's only Bay for sure, to a lovely moonlight picnic. Gee, the traffic is terrific. Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays. No place like home. Oh, no matter how far away you roam. If you really wanna be happy in a million ways, for the holidays you can beat home sweet home. For the holidays you can beat home sweet home. I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus underneath the mistletoe last night. She didn't see me creep down the stairs to have a peep. She thought that I was tucked up in my bedroom fast asleep. That's when I saw Mommy tickle Santa Claus.
Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it.
What a laugh it would have been if my daddy had only seen Mommy kissing Santa Claus last night.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
I saw Mommy tickle
This is Starr Radio UK.
underneath his big so-so-y wine. Oh, what a fight it would have been if Daddy had only seen Mommy tickling Santa Claus last night. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you will even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one sunny afternoon,
This is Starr Radio UK.
came to say, oh, 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 Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you go down in history.
Okay, then, if nothing has put you in the Christmas mood, I hope that I've been able to deliver on that promise. Something playing in the background by the mighty Sparrow, and I call this Christmas Tune Made in the Caribbean Port. But it's now gone 12:45 exacting one. I'm going to cross over all the way to Cyprus, where we got our own HRH Linda Pallien, who has joined us. Unfortunately, I cannot see her face. Maybe she's busy, and that's why. But let me go to Linda and say, Linda, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. You can't see me?
I can't see you. So please, can you dial back then, please?
My camera's on. Do you want me to call back?
Yes, please call back. Yes, please. Thank you. All right then. Yes, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Yes, now we can see her. We can see her. Okay, so just stay with me. Don't you go away. It's now time for Career 101. But don't you worry, as I said, the program will not be void of music. So I'm going to make sure I bring you some more Christmas tunes this afternoon. There's going to be lots of it for you.
This is Caribbean.
But it's now time for us to now go to Cyprus, where she is already ready to fire on all cylinders. And let me say a massive good afternoon to you, Linda.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, doing very, very, very well. Somebody say much better. Yes, in a good mood.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, lady. Yes, how is Mr. Pallien?
Fantastic. We're getting in the Christmas spirit.
That's what we want to hear. Now, interestingly, some people are of the view that those who are like lastminute.com. Are you a lastminute.com? You are.
Absolutely.
Well, so join the club. If you are listening to us, you want to be part of the lastminute.com, you can join us. Yeah. But we know what to do, aren't we? All right then. Yes, what are we going to be looking at today?
Well, today we're going to look at a rather interesting topic: how to call in sick at work.
Oh my goodness, how to call in sick at work? Hello, good afternoon. I'm not feeling very well. I think I have cold. I have flu. Really? Okay. Well, you want to call in properly so that you don't find yourself in trouble. That is what Linda is going to be talking about this afternoon. Okay, so let me go straight to Linda. So, how to call in sick at work? Okay. Over to you, Linda.
Fantastic. And we're discussing this topic because it's the holiday season and it's winter as well in most places. So there's a lot of bugs going around and flu, and with all of what's going on in the world, it's important to touch on the subject of, unfortunately, if you manage to feel poorly, how to communicate that to your employer so that you can keep your good name and manage that relationship properly.
Okay.
So we'll talk about reasons why you call in sick at work, and actually being hangover or eating too much after Christmas isn't one. And then we're going to how to mitigate the call and how to manage it so that you can come back to work.
Okay.
Better.
Okay. Well, listeners, if you are listening to us, this is a good program a good topic that you have to listen to, because we know lots of you are going to be facing all this. I mean, the past week I've not been, I think, about 10 days, getting to 2 weeks, I wasn't feeling that well. But, if you are, an employer, you whether you are sick or you still have to plot on. So you have to. But if you are an employee, maybe you want to be like the boss man himself, and then you think that, well, if I can plot on, why not go in there? But if not, I mean, we're not saying that by force just come in to do that. But at times people have good reasons why they have to take some time off. If you are maybe let's say you have got the Omicron variant, you don't want to come into the workplace to come and infect other people. No, we don't want that. And therefore, you have to adhere to it. So please take it in context what we are talking about this afternoon. Over to you, Linda.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to start from there. So some of the reasons you might call in sick work is, first and foremost, contagious illness. So as we're talking about COVID-19 or any other variant of that matter, of course, if you've got a contagious disease or illness, then it makes sense to protect the workplace and your colleagues, or you have a duty to yourself, even if you feel well, not to come in to protect other people.
Yeah.
It's not to say you couldn't work from home, but definitely to take care of yourself so you're better quickly, or to work from home. And having said that, the flip side of that is there's a lot of people that are using this as an excuse, because it's, I don't want to come to work, and if I say I have COVID or I've been in contact with someone that's got COVID, then it gets me off the hook. And for anybody that might think like that, I encourage you to think about how it affects the business. Because if you come to work yesterday and you said you were in contact with somebody 2 days ago, all of the team have to go off or to have a test as well. So sometimes you put your whole team in jeopardy or the whole company in jeopardy because you want to lie about being sick. So it's really important, if you're going to do that, to look at the consequences of that.
Okay, we are here. Please go on.
Okay. So the first thing is contagious illnesses. Second one is injury or illness that affects your productivity. And this could be physical or mental as well. If it means that you can't perform your job as much as you will, as well as you would be expected to, then of course that's a reason to call in sick as well. Other ones include hospitalizations or having a procedure done, an operation, pregnancy, diagnosed with a medical condition. The usual reasons why you would call in sick at work. And most employers have policies in place already for these foreseeable circumstances. So it's these are acceptable reasons to call in sick. The second section of this part is, the second section of this topic or the subject we're discussing is how to do it. So the first port of call is choose the appropriate communication method to use. Very often, and I'm guilty of this actually, I remember being told off for this, where because you normally text your manager, you send a text, but for if you're going to call in sick, then they require you to have a call, a phone call, or maybe an email with all the details so that they can document it or forward it to HR, or online chat, whatever works for your company, but you have to know what the procedures are so that you can use the right method of communication. Sometimes you have a good relationship with your team, so you think a text message will do, but then it might doesn't get passed on to whoever needs to know. So the appropriate method of communication. Secondly, act quickly. If you know you're not going to be in, as quick notice as possible will help them be able to find a replacement, especially this happens with the nursing and care sector. If there's 3 people planned for the day, if you're not going to be in, if you let them know quickly, they can have an agency or a replacement. So act quickly and estimate when you'll be back to work if you can. That's always very helpful for employers. I know from listening to my friends sometimes when they're clients, when they're frustrated with their employer, they said, I told them that I have to have an emergency operation, and the first question was, when will you be back? Really sentimental about this. And yes, as much as you would like people to show some humanity and sympathize with you, their first priority from their perspective is the business. So if you're able to estimate when you're back, then they can know how to mitigate their chances. Not that they don't care, but it's just to be able to cover their background. Hopefully they'll do both.
Yes, and of course, when it is a procedure, at least the health expert will tell you that this might be for a period of your recovery will be maybe 2 weeks or something. So you have an idea of what might happen. So if somebody asks you that, you don't take it on. Maybe some people are not nice, so why are you not coming to work? So they'll make you say, when are you coming back? Then that's trouble. But we hope that people are learning from that, and then we do the right thing for both sides. Yeah.
Absolutely. So definitely estimate the time you're back to work. Act quickly. The third point under this is keep them informed. It's very prudent to show that you still care. So keep them informed whether you hand over what tasks need to be done urgently, in your absence, and whatever tools or documents they need to be able to access. Keep them informed, provide the right information so that somebody else can follow up, etc. It shows that you care. It shows that you're proactive. If you can and you don't, and then things get left behind just because you're ill and it costs the business money, that goes against you because you weren't as proactive as you could have been. Of course, nobody knows how ill you are in bed, but if you can, and if you're looking for promotion, this is a career for you and you're serious about it, then do your best to mitigate the inconvenience that's caused to the employer. Also, it's worth, this is a side point from point number 3, it's worth seeing if you can work from home instead. Sometimes you sit your ankle so you can't get on the tube and go to work or walk to work, but you're able to work from home. So again, negotiating those things are very important rather than just taking the time off, leaving them in the lurch, or using up all your sick days when you might need them later. And then upon your return, how to figure out what the procedures are for your return, whether you need to do your return to work papers, your self-certification. I think in England, for most companies, under 7 days, you do a self-certification. More than 7 days, you need a doctor's note where you're signed off. So understand what the procedure is within your company, and help them as much as possible with a follow-up when you're back to work. So definitely know the company's policies, be honest, because it's mutually beneficial for everyone. Prepare for your return to work. If you know you're coming in, what do you need to come in? And maybe you might need special adjustments, so say them in advance, rather than coming in and going, oh, well, my chair no longer supports my back, so I need to be off until you find me a better chair. And I know somebody that has done this.
And he wants some more time off. Interesting.
I had a back problem and they didn't have the right chair, so that's a requirement. So if you're giving them notice, and then also when you're phoning in sick, it's really important that you make your explanation concise. As much as you feel bad and you want them to understand that you're not faking it or whatever it is, do less symptoms and more about back to work. You know, some people like to tell you all the details. I woke up at this temperature. What I did this, and be as concise as possible. You don't feel well, you're going to go to the doctor, so you're going to take this time off, or you're going to take medication, whatever it is, and when you'll be back to work, or how long you estimate it to go for. So maybe try out for a day, if not, I go to doctor, whatever it is, and put yourself in their position. They need to replace you or mitigate your not being there, so that as quickly as they can get on with it, the better, rather than listen to your sub story, which doesn't change the outcome
at all.
That could be there.
Well, let me ask you one question pertaining to those who when people are returning to work. Now, the person is not fully recovered. It looks like maybe they are handling a very important role. And anything that, well, because of that, I need to force some way. It's not 100% recovered, but they want to still come in. And therefore, when it comes to the output of the person, you know that it's being impacted negatively. Now, how do you deal with that?
I think it's being honest mutually. You know, if you think, oh, do you know what, my concentration isn't what it used to be, or isn't at full, and I still have headaches or whatever it is, but making sure that your boss or whoever the stakeholder is understands that, so that they're able to outsource it or double check it before, so that you avoid sending out something that is full of mistakes because you haven't been careful. And you have to be honest with yourself too as to what you can do, because some people, as you said, want to push through it, and then it ends up with the job having to be done twice. So that's now some resources, because and the person who's checking the job, the work again. So it's being honest and this two-way communication. I can do this, or maybe I take on these tasks for now that I haven't been able to do. But if it comes to the physically running about and whatever, I can't do it just yet. So let's manage this. How do I do it? Would you rather I stayed at home and did the desk task? Do I have to come in and do this? You know, and talking about it. A lot of people shy away from negotiating because they feel like it will be seen negatively. But with any level-headed hiring manager or employer, they value the honesty as well. Hopefully they know what you are capable of at your peak.
Yeah, that's true. Because when I have maybe interaction with some presenters, and I think that the person even is not in a good frame of mind, I tell them, no, you can't do your program, because you should be able to communicate and the people should feel. But the moment I'm like, no, just cut it, just stay away. When you are better, you come and do that. Would rather play music or do a repeat rather than you not being that well, unless of course you are the only person and you're supposed to be there, as I was doing last week. I thought, oh gosh, how was that bad? But I needed to be there, so I needed to push myself to do it. But if not, and you are an employer and you are listening to us, please, I think that will serve you a great deal. But listeners, HRH Linda Pallien bringing us Career 101, and today we are looking at how to call in sick at work. You know, not just the one that boss, I'm not feeling well. No, not that one. Some people lie. But you do it such that even when you are not there, your absence is missed, and they will want you back, not thinking that, well, this is a chance to get rid of the person. No, you don't want to do that at all. So continue to listen to her, and then we'll be putting all the details and how you can deal with all that across in a moment. Over to you, Linda.
Absolutely. I think you touched on a very important point that is very overlooked, you know, in terms of energy, the energy you bring, you know, to the work. If you're forcing yourself to be at work and you're dull, you're very quiet, and you're not your normal self, and it's going to bring the work morale down. You really need to consider that as well, because you're not 100%, and that's part of sickness too. People think, oh, okay, well, it's been 2 days, I'm expected to get better, and you're not better, for example. Or maybe, for example, let's take a chef that's probably gone through COVID and probably lost the sense of taste and smell. That's not going to be helpful.
Very, very one that you know what. Prepare you something to eat and you bang your head against the wall.
You might be physically walking and have all the energy as well, but what's needed for your job is that means you're not fully recovered. As you say, the radio presenter, if your energy levels or just your entertainment and your personality isn't the best, then you're going to hurt the ratings of your show rather than it. So as you say, it's better to play music and get the morale at least going than to. So that's a very important factor to consider. Not just physically what you need to get back to work, but also these intangible aura, energy, the effect you have on others, how you sound. And for some reason, and I've noticed this especially about myself, and I pick up a phone call and I'm in bed, people can tell straight away. They won't be able to tell you know. But as soon as I pick up the phone, are you tired? And people can tell these things, you know. You may lie to yourself, but you can't lie to people, especially people that know you really well.
Right.
It's important to acknowledge objective facts. If you're not 100%, you're not 100%, and probably it's better to 100%, unless it doesn't directly affect your output.
Yeah. Okay, listeners, HRH Linda Pallien for you, which is put all that you need to know and all that you have to do if you happen not to be well, and you want to call the workplace to say you are sick. The right way to do it, not lying. Now, it's better to be upfront rather than lying tomorrow. So, you know, some people have said that I'm not feeling very, very well. I remember my last job that I was in. And then apparently the guy posted something on his Facebook that it was an event. And then the boss, somebody saw it, wanted to give it to the boss, the overall boss. And I was like, oh gosh. So when it happens like that, you put yourself in big trouble.
That happens so often where people think, oh well, I'm just gonna pull one over their eyes and make it or call in sick, and then you're spotted in the supermarket. Or, I mean, it's just there's no coming back from that. The trust broken. So it's definitely worth considering. I mean, if you don't care about your job, but even still, if you burn those bridges, you might need them for a reference. You never know who they know in future. And of course, it's about being a person of your word and some integrity. So you would rather say taking off a mental day, a mental sickness day, and then you can at least justify boosting your mental health than say that I'm in bed and I have a flu and you're not. That never.
Thou shalt not lie. Well, listen to Starr Radio UK. Now let me ask you: is it captured in the books at all?
Oh, that's a good question. No, this isn't actually covered in the books, but it's a good addendum to the books for the next edition of it. How to manage this. In the books we talk about it's more about personal development and how to make yourself better. So I tend to shy away from taking the employer side individuals, because it's a career coach on your side showing you how you can be better and achieve the goals you set for yourself.
Okay, listeners, well, if you are listening to us, whether you are an employer or you are an employee, at times you need to put yourself in the shoe of somebody to know exactly what the people are thinking. So these books, now, have you bought your Christmas present for your friends, your lovely, your loved ones, or name it? Now, if you've not, or even if you have, I can still recommend this one for you. Please. Linda is going to talk about the books. She's going to sum up what we discussed and then talk about the books. Please, get your hand on it and give it to somebody. Listen, for the rest of the life of the person, you are going to better the life of that person. I mean, when it comes to his employment, and it's going to be a happy person, you know? Okay, so over to you, Linda.
Absolutely. So today we've spoken about how to call in sick at work. We spoke about some of the plausible reasons, acceptable reasons to call in sick at work, and some of the not so acceptable reasons, like I'm drunk or I ate too much or whatever it is. And then we spoke about I shared some tips on doing it properly, so understanding the company's policies and preparing yourself for it, because sometimes your line manager might not know exactly what to do. So if you're prepared for the reset, and you can tell them, you can give them pointers. Again, it stands you in good stead as a diligent worker. Being honest and punctual, all of those tips we've discussed, and then also how to physically call in sick, whether it's by phone, by text, which method, email, whatever method is outlined for you to do it, and then how to get back into the work once you return from your sick leave or your sickness, and perhaps sometimes when it's a good reason to work from home rather than call in sick and use that just in case.
Okay. Now let's talk about the book, please.
Absolutely. So there's 3 books, 3 career books, and you only need 1 or 2, whichever suits you. The first book is How to Career. So over the holidays, you've got some peace and quiet and some downtime. It's an easy read, a good time to reflect on what you're doing, how it fits your overall life goals. Is this a job for me, or is this a career? What am I going to change? When am I going to start earning what I deserve? So this is a great time to read these resources. How to Career shows you in 6 steps to analyze where you are at and where you want to go, and maybe put the steps in place to do that. Career success is boosting you to do better and to get to your next level of success. So whether it's a promotion, whether it's a job change, whether it's starting your own business, it gives you almost a checklist of how to build authority, how to do your CV, or how to build your portfolio, how to be seen as credible, how to network to get the right opportunities. And then, of course, the workbook ties it all together. It gives you pointers of what am I missing, what do I need to get to the next level, what have I considered, what am I still missing, how do I get the help to do that. And it gives you so many different ideas. I recently got some feedback from a workshop I did regarding these books, and it was fantastic. These are for middle management, and even at that level, there was a lot of things that they hadn't thought about, or a lot of things to reflect on. So it's a great resource if you're at the beginning of your career, if you're looking to change career, if you're looking to progress, and the last chapter of Career Success talks about leaving a legacy. So if you're near retirement, how to retire so that people remember your name and remember your contribution to the company. It's super important, as well as frequently asked questions. So you might find, should you work for free? Should you do the secondment? Whatever it is, they're great resources. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them everywhere online. You can find them on Book Depository, Waterstones online, Nielsen. Get your hands on these books. They're less than £20 per copy, and they'll be the best resource you've done for yourself and for other people. This Christmas, give people the gift of personal growth. Help them to get to their goals, and they'll always be grateful to you for that.
Wow. I forgot the fact that you can buy some for yourself. Buy some for treat yourself. Don't go buy trainers, don't go buy shirt. I mean, it's just a matter of time they will wear off, and then you will have to go and buy another. But you have this one. Knowledge is power. It goes into your head. Nobody can take that one away from you. You will always have it at the tips, your fingertips, to use anytime the opportunity comes. So why not treat yourself with these 3 books? It's what? 60 quid. Only 60 quid. I bet you are going to buy something more than that to treat yourself. I tell you, after Christmas, somebody asks you, where is it, or what, you not even know what to say about it. But Linda, that's a good one there, yeah.
60 quid these days is a meal, and I always say, love yourself enough to invest in yourself. Don't wait for your employer. Don't wait for somebody else to come and say, oh, see something in you. You see something in yourself, and bet on yourself. And this is a step in the right direction, getting these books.
Thank you very, very much. Now, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, can you put your contact details across so that the person can get it? She has been my cheerleader. She can cheer you on all the way to the top, the CEO, or whatever you want to be. So please, over to you, Linda.
Absolutely. As Archie said, I'm my cheerleader. My nickname is my cheerleader because I'm a cheerleader for your success. You can definitely get in touch with me by my website, lindapallien.com. lindapallien.com. It's coming on your screens. Pallien is spelled Pallien. Or on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Linda Pallien, or at my cheerleader, if you prefer that, at my cheerleader. And of course, I have a lot of resources that you can access for free, for 10 quid, all up to 100 and more. And I do trainings as well. So whatever your needs is, just ask, and we'll figure it out. But give yourself the gift of personal growth this Christmas.
Let me say good afternoon to Alhaja at Aidiatu Moriana Folarain. I think you are listening to us from Nigeria. Yes, the book can still reach you. If you want it, get in touch with us and we will make sure that you receive it. It will help a great deal. Okay, Linda, let me say thank you very much and a happy Christmas to you as well.
Happy Christmas and a Merry New Year.
A Merry New Year, yes. Okay. So have a wonderful day. We'll catch up later.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Right. Bye. Well, listeners, that was HRH Linda Pallien bringing you Career 101. And today, as you know, we had a look at there's lots of ailment going round. Call it COVID, call it whatever thing, the cold, flu, and all that going around at the moment. But how can you call in sick the right way so that it doesn't affect your reputation? Okay, so people know that this man has said this, and for sure they know that it's because he's ill, and that's why he's not been able to come in. Or this lady has said that, and because so that they can take you out to work. What will you do? This podcast is going to be ready in the next few minutes. So just go on to the Starr Radio UK app. Just download it. If you have not, go to your app store. Yes, type in Starr Radio Global, Starr Radio Global, and then you can download it. It will appear, and then on the session we've got the podcast session there, which is going to be ready for you. Or you can go to the social media platforms that we broadcast on, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, name it, we are there. And let's really listen to it. It will help you a great deal. On that note, let me say thank you very much for tuning in this afternoon to listen to us. Let me say good afternoon to Dave West and the wife Jenny. Jenny, we wish you a speedy recovery. We hope that you are doing much better. But this is why I sign off with a song from the Soul Winners, and that is another Christmas tune for you. I told you from now until Friday I'm bringing you Christmas tunes. All right then, enjoy your day, enjoy your shopping, whatever you are doing. But be careful. Take good care of yourself. It's me, Archie, saying bye-bye for now.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Thanks for listening.